If you're thinking about public cloud, you need to consider what's in the ecosystem. Learn more on HP Tech Talks. Welcome to HP Tech Talk. I'm Andy McCaskey from SDR News, and we're talking about cloud, specifically the public cloud and the ecosystem that surrounds that. Our guide, almost as always, is Chris Purcell.
Thanks for inviting us back.
Well, it's always great to have you here and to see who you're going to bring along as a guest, and I think you have a full-fledged cloud evangelist from HP that's joining us today.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I have an opportunity to bring in Stephen Spector. I met Stephen for the first time at HP Discover last week or a week and a half ago. HP Discover was an exciting show. We had a proliferation of all types of flavors of cloud. But Stephen joining us today is really focused on really kind of the expanding ecosystem we have within public cloud.
So thanks for inviting me today, and I'm excited to be here on behalf of HP. And like Chris said, we met last week or two at Discover, and I was just amazed at the sheer scale and the amount of cloud solutions that HP has and offers its customers. It's really quite tremendous. And coming from the public cloud world, I don't spend as much time thinking about private and hybrid, but I'm just amazed at what HP can do. And in terms of public cloud, it really is amazing the number of partners, the number of solutions we have, building our cloud based on OpenStack, open source, open standards, big contributor to that community. It's very excited to be here, and I can't wait to share what information I have and get some feedback from the viewers.
Okay, well, I think it's going to be a really good discussion, but it's probably worthwhile for us to step back a little bit. We talked about a variety of different cloud types in some earlier episodes. Chris, why don't you review those quickly and also help us understand what a business-oriented cloud is, which that's one of the ways HP differentiates their offerings.
So in the past two episodes, we talked about the HP Converged cloud. We talked about private, talking about public today, we talked about managed. We've also talked about traditional IT, this whole infrastructure that has to come together to really allow business to be able to manage their workloads across any flavor of cloud that they want. It's kind of exciting to look at how this picture has really started to form over the last year, 2 years, and to really see how business is starting to use cloud. But to me, the secret of it all is this hybrid delivery. And again, we've talked about this before. It gives business the ability of using a traditional IT, areas where they continue to spend a lot of money and to invest in, but then also to move their workloads into different flavors of cloud.
Is there a specific customer type that HP Public Cloud's offering is designed for?
Well, it's a good question, and I think you might get different answers. My viewpoint is we certainly are targeting enterprises, looking for enterprise customers, the Fortune 500 companies, looking at a way to maximize their IT investment and be able to deliver secure and scalable solutions to their customers. I also think there's a new trend now that we're seeing is in the SaaS space, looking at companies that want to run their applications as software as a service. I don't know if you've talked about that in a previous episode or if I've introduced the whole new space, but the SaaS space is really interesting. And we are looking and meeting with a lot of ISVs talking about using HP Public Cloud as a platform to run their business. I know a lot of us think about enterprise companies and running the workloads, financial workloads or any of those kind of things, but we don't spend a lot of time thinking about ISVs looking to engage in SaaS access. Customers now want to run that application on any device, anywhere, and public cloud really is the infrastructure tool for ISVs to make that happen. So we are targeting a lot of that as well.
Well, I know in previous episodes we've talked about security as being a major concern and a reason that people might delay their cloud implementation programs. Is this something that you talk about with clients in your role as an evangelist?
So I would say that probably the number one question that we get all the time is security. And I think there's a lot of people that are a bit misinformed. I personally think a public cloud is probably as secure as you can possibly get. I've been to some HP data centers as well as other data centers. You can't go into a data center if you could even find your data center. They're very secure, very limited access. Not many companies, if we look at SMB space, or even some enterprises, have that level of physical security. And then when it comes to security in terms of security within the cloud itself and the encryption and the monitoring, HP has a whole team of people doing nothing but making sure that's secure. We use the latest and most advanced standards we can. I think public clouds are about as secure as you can possibly get. And I think companies are hesitant, but we're starting to see more and more companies look at it. I think if we look at a SaaS provider like Salesforce, most of the business community today runs Salesforce for their sales leads, and that's all sitting in the cloud. And I would say that that's pretty important data, is who your sales leads are, and that sits out there. So I think more and more people are getting comfortable with it and understanding that it is not the wild, wild west out there, and that when you jump on a machine, there's 30 other people waiting to grab your workload. We work hard to prevent that.
But Stephen, where do you think the biggest market is in the public cloud? Do you think it's enterprise, small, medium business, a mixture of the two?
So I think from a total volume perspective, I think SMB really makes the most sense, excuse me. I think startups are quite huge. I think most technical startups today, they're no longer buying hardware servers. They're just going straight out and jumping on the cloud and running their email systems and things like that. So I think SMB may be leading right now, and that may be kind of the big active space. But I do think coming forward, enterprises are going to take a larger play and more ISVs. An example of a company that we recently announced, they run a solution called PZ Flex, and it's a solution to do, what's the right terminology for this? They do high performance computing to analyze the flow of liquids over materials. It's quite complicated, quite scientific, an enormous amount of data, very heavy data intensive application. They are now offering their solution just on HP's cloud. And whereas the past customers would have to purchase that software, purchase expensive hardware, specialized hardware, now anyone can jump on access. And I think one of the great advantages for our customers is that you can now be a startup, you can be a 2 or 3 person company, and you can offer incredibly high performance computing on the public cloud. And it really makes the competition barrier drop. No longer is expensive hardware the barrier for competition. Now it's just your intelligence and your creativity.
Well, a lot of what you've just presented, though, would be present in other competitor cloud offerings. What differentiates the HP public cloud?
So our differentiation really is, there's several items. One of them is that we are based on open standards. We are based on OpenStack. Right now, OpenStack is I believe it's past Linux, and it is now the largest open source project in the world today. There are people from around the world working on it. They're averaging something like 1,800 patches a month or something like that is the new data coming in. And it really is becoming the standard for open cloud. And leveraging that, HP was there at the beginning. HP is a strong member of the advisory board. And a lot of the technology that we're using is based straight from OpenStack. And I think another piece is our partner community. I know we started this conversation on ecosystems, but really it's about the solutions and the value add that we deliver with our cloud. I'll give you an example. Is we work with a company called Feed Henry. They're a partner of ours. They do mobile application development and deployment. So if you're a small company or even a large company looking to deploy your application in a mobile space, a public cloud makes great sense. It gives you the platform to develop on, platform to test your scalability, and it also has the ability to deploy from that public cloud outward. And so here's an example where customers think, oh, it's a public cloud, it's just some VMs and some storage. But in fact, we are offering a complete solution platform on top of it. And if you want to move into the mobile app space, you just come to HP Cloud, click a button, boom, you have this whole environment up and running. We deliver the scalability for you. We have the consulting resources, obviously, and we have the partnerships with these kind of companies. So we're out there looking to deliver an ecosystem to give both developers and customers a wide variety of choice of how to leverage our public cloud infrastructure.
Well, you're being a little bit modest with the discussion of OpenStack. Tell us a little bit more about your personal involvement in the project.
So about a month after it was founded, I left Zen.org, where I was a previous community manager, and I worked on the OpenStack community for its first year, getting it up from scratch, where we had basically a website, and everyone in the world was contacting us. What is this? What is this? We want to do this. What's this event? And we went and set up. I know in that first year, we recruited almost 150 partners, which is quite amazing number of partners. The scale in terms of number of developers joining, those kind of things. My focus was really on the partner side, getting the user group set up. I think when I left, we had about 30 or 35 user groups running. Today, there's user groups in almost every city around the world in the countries. I know I'm talking to, there's an event in Seattle this week. We're looking in 2 weeks to sponsor an event in India. There's an event tomorrow in Austin. It really is, the big ball rolling down the hill. So one of the interesting parts about OpenStack is the fast growth. And it's not just 5 to 10 developers joining a month. We get 20 to 40 developers coming every week wanting to look at the code, people wanting to submit code. How do we manage multiple projects? At the time I left OpenStack, there were 3 or 4 main projects. Today, I think there's 9 active projects, maybe 6 or 7 sub-projects. Each one has its own team of engineers that manage the project independently. They all have code reviewers. So just think that each one of these is almost its own separate enterprise application team being built remotely. And one of the things that HP's taking a lead role is with Monty Taylor, who was one of our lead engineers. He leads the effort for the entire OpenStack project on the way that code is submitted, code is integrated, managed, the software trees are all managed. It's a huge process. He has a large team that works on that. And like I said, that they're now tracking over 1,800 check-ins a month of code. And each check-in requires a software code review where people on the appropriate teams have to read the code, agree. And there's also a whole series of instant tests. Every time you try to push code to that tree, the code runs through maybe 200 or 300 tests at least to make sure that the nothing breaks, that everything is still working. And all this is this continuous integration so that the core tree that is always there at one time has all 100% working code. And you have people from around the world checking in, maybe 100, 200 check-ins a day with all this code. It's quite amazing. And Monty Taylor, like I said, leads that effort. And I'm sure they're working with some experimental software. I believe it's zuul, I think is the name of the technology. I'll have to spend some more time looking at it. But it really is, it may be the largest integration software project of all time going on. And the scary thing is OpenStack is still a baby. It's only 3 years old, coming up on 4. It's still young. Linux has been around for 15, 20 years, something like that. Just imagine how much larger this is going to be in a year or two. It really is mind-boggling. And the foundation that they've set up to run it has quite a huge job ahead of it. I think one of the interesting aspects of open source that a lot of people still don't quite get right is you're not going to go out to OpenStack, your typical customer, and download an executable and install it and have a cloud. It's quite complicated. It's a set of projects. They need to have development and engineering to mix together. And you talked before about advantages that HP gives you. HP's expertise in OpenStack, HP's expertise in open source is quite extensive. And when you come and use our cloud, our public cloud based on OpenStack, all that experience and all that knowledge we have comes to play. And we deliver a high quality open source product, not just open source. And I think that does make a difference.
We talk about building out the ecosystem. We talk about customers wanting to have choice. They want to have this opportunity of having a public or a private. It's really not so much the fact that they want a cloud solution. They need to have a much more robust ecosystem. I think has really been the major topic for today. We talk about what Stephen talks about, the ecosystem built on the public cloud. You can also think about that, the ecosystem that we built out on our private cloud offerings with Cloud Maps. And again, those are the things that people want to interface with. They don't want to have to build things from scratch. We talk about, you know, the ease of either getting into a cloud, but more importantly, it's actually the applications I can use when I'm in the cloud that makes me productive.
So some of the other partner solutions that we provide on OpenStack today, and unfortunately I won't be able to list them all. I encourage you to go to our website and look in solutions. We offer collaboration as a service. There's a lot of companies that have tools that let you set up teams globally. If you think about the way the modern enterprises work, there'll be teams in every time zone. And you need to have that data available to everyone, whether it's documents, architecture, plans. Everyone needs access. It needs to be securely stored. It needs to be backed up. And it needs to all be fast. It needs to just happen. It needs to be easy to access. So we've partnered with several companies. We have 3 of them right now, in fact, that offer a variety of solutions in that kind of space. And that's, again, where the partner ecosystem is not just a cloud. We're delivering collaboration as a service. We have companies that do things in high-performance computing. If you're looking to render high-definition movies, whether it's cartoons or any kind of full-motion video that you need, used to have very expensive equipment to do it. Now we have a partner with a company called Green Button that can deliver high-performance computing rendering on our public cloud. So if you're out there and you make cartoons and you're looking to render that cartoon for a full Hollywood movie, you can do that on our public cloud. If we look at object storage, we have many companies building storage solutions on top of our public cloud, even with the ability to create separate file systems that sit out there in object storage. There's database as a service. There's just an endless supply of solutions. And what we're doing is providing our customers choice in those spaces. It's not just one partner. We want to get the leading partners in those different spaces, have them engaged, have them fully tested, have them part of our production environment. So the customers have the choice, oh, I need collaboration as a service. Because ultimately the cloud is about solving your business solution. It's not about the technology. And so what business problem does that customer have? And then what we want to do is we want to deliver that business solution. Obviously, from my perspective on the public cloud, from Chris's perspective, you can use hybrids, you can use private managed. There's a whole variety of things. But again, deliver customer value through the business solution. And that's what we're about with our partners.
Chris, at HP Discover, I know there were several cloud announcements. Could you maybe summarize those for us quickly?
Yeah, so Andy, it's an interesting question. It really kind of goes back to what Stephen's been talking about, the public cloud. We introduced our Cloud OS. It came out on Wednesday. It got a lot of attention from the press. It really allows us to have this interface between where we are and then interfacing into OpenStack. So it's almost kind of like an API. It's starting to work towards a common platform or technology platform that now allows our cloud to talk into OpenStack.
Chris, what are we going to be looking forward to coming up here next time that we're together as we're talking about cloud?
So we've talked about public cloud today. Really, the next time around, we really want to be talking about a private cloud. We want to talk about how we build and how you can ease that private cloud into your business with very little disruption. We talked about cloud maps, how you can build out a service catalog very, very quickly. That's what I'm hoping to talk to you about next time around.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks to both of you for joining us today. And thanks to you folks for joining us here as we take a look at how Hewlett-Packard is defining the new style of IT. I'm Andy McCaskey for SDR News. We'll see you next time.